What's very interesting about this story and what's going on in Gary, Indiana, not only have they been without power, people have been looting and such things that have been occurring in Gary, Indiana with dark roads, dark nights. It's bad. It's a bad situation. Hundreds of thousands of people without power.
It's out of all my years of living, as much as I've dealt with people, as much movies as I watched, the zombies aren't the bad guy. The monsters, most of the time, aren't the worst. It's the humans you gotta worry about. Other human beings walking around. Oh, they got a generator over there. Come on, we gotta get this generator, y'all. It gets greasy. One of you guys said in the comments, they gonna try to turn us against each other. Man, it's not that hard. Most people are already against each other right now, nowadays, you know? Guys, believe it or not, this is a data center in Ohio. This picture is worth 1,000 words. Just look at it.
That we have of Mill Creek in our area with the data center could cause. It's about preserving the peace, the character, and the way.
You can forget about peace and character. If a data center comes there and you hear that constant hum 24/7, it's over. I don't think anybody would buy a house right next to a data center.
Let's be real with solar power. It might look like I have unlimited energy, and in some ways I do.
Each of these 200-watt solar panels costs about $130 each. 6 of them here, so that's about $780 just in the solar panels.
That's not bad. And again, you can go on Facebook Marketplace and get some for even cheaper, but you want to make sure that they work and you're not getting scammed. The 500-watt hybrid inverter, AC breaker, battery banks. Important part. I wonder if you can just keep charging up your battery banks and have like 15 of those just put to the side and just keep swapping them out on your bad days, you know, just to keep it going. It's cheaper than you would think, guys. You don't need 50,000, 30,000 to have a solar setup. Especially when you can, do the research yourself. Get your Tony Stark on, you gotta survive, or else you're gonna be looking like this. You're gonna be in this long line, waiting for a handout. And who knows, the people at the end of that line, they might not get it. Look at how long it goes down the street. You can't see it, but if you could zoom in right there, look at how long this line is. My question to you all is, why not start working on all this? You can save money on your electric bill. You can eat better food because you're growing it. No more of that lettuce, juju bug that everyone's yelling about. People are afraid to eat lettuce nowadays. Have your solar panels keeping your meat cool.
This can feed a family for a little over a year, and this is why most people go this route.
For a year. You buy a cow like this, going with some friends, throw it, look at all the ground meat in the back. Tomahawk. I never ate a tomahawk in my life. But guess what? You get a couple with these. I'm gonna be real with you guys. This is probably one of the smartest ideas you can do for you and your family and your household. I'm gonna be completely real with you. Besides me busting out that Strong's Concordance and trying to show you guys the real name from the Tetragrammaton, this is probably the second most important video I have shown you guys all year. What do you do when you can't get gas? Well, what if you had an electric vehicle that you could charge using solar? Now, I'm just throwing you guys everything I got. I'm not gatekeeping no ideas. I want anybody who watches me to thrive. We're reacting to the recent articles, public reports, and videos about the power grid, data centers, and related concerns. We are not claiming that any specific blackout or event is guaranteed to happen. Some materials include expert opinions, worst case scenarios, and unverified claims, which we'll discuss as such. Please review the original sources and draw your own conclusions. Gary, Indiana, still no power. Disabled residents forced to stand in long lines for only a $100 voucher. Man, look at how long that is. If you're watching this video right now, this is what we are trying to avoid, is to be self-sufficient, have all the vegetables, solar panels in line, so you're not out there waiting. When I look at this is extremely sad, all these people caught off guard, $100, You know, who knows how long that can last, and where can they even spend that at? You know, in this video today, at the end, we're going to go over some techniques so you can try to avoid all this and you won't have to be in any lines.
Like, I just want to show this because this is like really crazy. So these are just neighborhoods. It's no lights, it's no power. But look at this shit. When I cut my lights off, why the you see that shit? It is pitch black.
And you got to ask yourself, you know, even if you did have a generator, you know, you're going to attract so much attention, especially when it's going on day 15 and no power and people hearing that generator. You know, one of you guys mentioned in the comments yesterday that it may be possible they're trying to turn us against each other. It's, you know, everyone on here is on the same page. I believe most of us, you know, we're all vibing. We could tribe up, but everybody isn't. You know what I'm saying? I would love to say, yeah, it's going to be kumbaya when, you know, if the power goes out and everyone's going to be holding hands and working together. But after everything I've seen living on this earth, all the movies I've seen, you know, zombies aren't the worst enemies. The monsters, it's the human beings.
Of y'all been keeping up what's going on in Gary, Indiana, but these people been without power for about 7 days.
10 days now.
7 days, and a lot of people are reporting that the news, nobody not really speaking about what's going on, the crime, everything. Okay, so I seen this guy.
I've drove through Gary, Indiana a couple times, but I'd never actually been to the city. But from what I heard, people say that's not one place you want to play around at.
Who posted a video, and he goes on to say, he said they've been without power for 7 days. He said finally on the 7th day, they've been thugging it out. He went to get a hotel where they had electricity, they had power. Gets to the hotel, a few minutes later, the power goes out at the hotel. Y'all, what is going on? What is going on in Gary, Indiana? Please, somebody share, repost, send help. Send help. 7 days, no power. A lot of people don't have no money to be paying for no hotel like that. Y'all is wrong for that.
See, if you're watching this, I don't want anybody thinking that way, that, oh man, we gotta run to a hotel. It's time to hunker down, activate the solar panels, get the emergency lights. I got a whole canned storage waiting for this event to pop off. You know, that's the type of energy I want, you know, us to have. If you're watching this, you know, if something hit the fan, we're gonna thrive. You know what I'm saying? That's the point of this video today. That's what we're gonna be diving into as best as possible. I'm gonna do my best to try to articulate this to you guys.
I'm gonna call y'all back. This is crazy. Bye, y'all.
If you guys remember my video from yesterday, it's a theory floating around that it just takes a couple transformers to get knocked out, and it's a potentially America could be down for 18 months. What hotel you gonna go to if the entire America has no power for 18 months?
I'm gonna tell y'all why those lights went out in Indiana. They're building a massive new AI data center. And when I say massive, I'm talking about 1,000 acres. But that's not the only thing. In Sullivan County, Indiana, the crew that is working on that data center hit a power line that supplies tornado sirens. Now that's just what they're saying, that they made a mistake and hit a power line while they're building that AI center. I wouldn't doubt it if they're taking that power and pushing it towards that AI data center and just calling it a power outage. outage. We all know that those AI centers require something very big, a lot of land and a lot of power. And the fact that they've been without power for 8 or 9 days, what happens if a tornado comes through while those sirens aren't working? And if you notice, they're building these massive AI facilities in rural areas where the land is cheap. A lot of them are being placed in predominantly black and low income communities. They don't care about people living in these communities. Those AI centers are profitable. We all remember what happened before. Remember when they ran highways through black communities? They put up factories, refineries, landfills, not to mention toxic industries around black communities. And what happened? Those families were left dealing with pollution, sickness, displacement, and reconstruction. And that's exactly what's going to happen when all these AI data centers are built. I'm gonna tell y'all why.
The scary part is if the power keeps being an issue for these data centers, we're going to have to resort to nuclear. You know, it gets deep. They're going to start looking into using uranium and nuclear. This isn't financial advice, but that might be something you want to look into. Companies that deal with uranium mining, you know, do your own research on everything, but that isn't financial advice.
China manufactures damn near all of our power infrastructure. If they're manufacturing that they're putting stuff in there to be able to access it. Even the former FBI director said that they are in our power grid.
They hacked into it. Yeah. When the cyber stuff happens, the minimum is small municipalities are going to lose electricity. They're going to have their waterworks probably shut down. I call that blunt force trauma. We hacked in and we just said, hey, delete everything, go. That might shut down municipalities. It won't shut down the bigs. They're going to keep giving you energy. The bigger problem with the bigs is the load they've got to take if things start to shut down. We saw that happen in
the bigs. I wonder who the bigs are. The data centers and everyone that needs it. Definitely not the people that's, you know, in the communities with no money.
Texas. All of a sudden, the whole darn thing ripples across the state because if one utility went down, the other tried to bear the load and it couldn't do it. August of 2003, grid goes down in New York City. It was all peace and happiness because it got back up in 3 days. But what's it like after 5? It's August. It's hot as hell. Aircon's not working. How long before this thing unravels? If I'm on offense against us, you take out energy, you take out everything. That's healthcare. That's finance. That's what you got to worry about.
China manufactures damn near all of our power infrastructure.
If the grid went down, like I thought about this off camera. Like I'm like, damn, if the grid really went down in America, what do I do? Do I hunker down or do I try to get a plane out of here to the UK or Costa Rica? You know what I'm saying? Because I'm telling you, I said it before. It's out of all my years of living, as much as I've dealt with people, as much movies as I watched, the zombies aren't the bad guy. The monsters, most of the time, aren't the worst. It's the humans you gotta worry about. Other human beings walking around. Oh, they got a generator over there. Come on, we gotta get this generator, y'all. It gets greasy. Again, like anybody watching this, you're cool. We can tribe up, but everybody ain't watching this. It's gonna hit the fan and it's gonna they're gonna turn into pirate mode almost, I feel like, you know? We gotta tribe up. I'm gonna start a Facebook group or something, man, so we can, we gotta tribe up. Most of you guys already know this about me, but for the ones that don't, I don't care what skin color you are. I don't care how old you are, what background you had. We're all in this together. There is absolutely zero discrimination or racism when it comes to your boy. If anything, it's something I can't stand is a bully. Let me see somebody get bullied. I turn into Captain America real quick. Just think in your head right now. Internet, electricity, it all goes off. What, do you have a plan? Visualize it. Hypothetically speaking, just think about it for a second. Say the power goes out right now. Do you have a plan? Most people will try to pick up their phone. The first thing they do, power goes out, pick up their phone. If they pick up the phone and they got no cell service, if you don't got no cell service, some people might think about, okay, let me hop in my car, try to find a radio broadcast or see whatever is playing on the radio. You know, you finally get to a news station or something and it tells you, oh yeah, hypothetically speaking again, yeah, the power's out, stay indoors. There's a plan. This is a broadcast system going on. You know what I'm saying? And then maybe people might start to panic. Then that's probably when everyone's going to jump in their cars and go to your local stores and try to stock up on water, you know, necessities, you know. So you get to Walmart and or wherever store you go to, and they pretty much there, you know, it's like Black Friday in the early days, you know, for toilet paper and water. You know what I'm saying? Do you want to be a part of all that? Or do you already have a plan? And you got to think about the people that's going to be coming to you. You know what I'm saying? Because you thought about this. So you might be prepared, but are you prepared for all the people that's going to be coming to you when stuff finally hits the fan is the question. One of you guys said in the comments, they're going to try to turn us against each other. Man, it's not that hard. Most people are already against each other right now, nowadays, you know? You gotta damn near have your heart on a sleeve and be, you know, super loving, empathy on max nowadays, just to have a decent moral compass. You know, it's either you can think, how can I survive? And also, if you got an even bigger heart, how many people can I help? You know, when it actually does pop off, you know? It gets deep when you really start thinking about it. But drop your thoughts in the comments below, y'all. Talk to me, man. This is not an easy pill to swallow. In case you missed it yesterday, I dove off into the United States power grid. You honestly should stop this video and go watch that video I did before this one, before you watch this one. But in case you didn't and don't want to, I'm gonna play this short little 30-second clip to catch you on along.
The United States power grid is at risk of a major blackout that could last up to 18 months, according to a new report. Concerns are heightened as one U.S. city has been without power for more than a week. Jon Wellinghoff said the grid could be seriously disrupted if similar incidents targeted the 10 most important substations in the country's 3 sections. In northwest Indiana, more than 75,000 customers were still in the dark Wednesday, and full restoration is not expected until August 25th.
In Ohio, we are losing farmland every single day.
New data centers are being built across Ohio.
It's terrible. This is the closest dealing I've ever had with the government, with the city government. As soon as we found out that it was getting zoned for industrial, we started being proactive. And even by that point, it was too late. It would be nice if we would just be informed.
In just the last 5 years, we have lost over 300,000 acres of farmland. These fields are more than open space. They are livelihood. They are history. They are home. And for the families who live near this proposed site, this isn't just about acreage. It's about daily life.
It's a great neighborhood. Everybody waves at everybody. There's trick-or-treating. Holiday decorating. It's just a great small community.
That's pretty huge, you know, people waving at everybody. You know, it sounds like it's not a big deal, but people are pretty mean nowadays, man. I feel like a lot of people have a lot of stress on their mind, a lot of tension. Everybody's rushing to get to the next point. You know, waving at, you know, other human beings. I don't think I hear people say excuse me anymore. You know, if you're shopping at the grocery store and someone walks in front of you, you know, people don't say excuse me anymore, or try to hold the door open, or try to push their carts in. You know, it's like, man, is it really that tough out here where we just, you know, let go of those things?
And that's why this big project moving directly in our backyard is very, very concerning to us.
For many, that peace is why they choose to live here. Large-scale development can introduce round-the-clock activity, lighting that changes the night sky, equipment noise that carries beyond property lines.
When we invested in our property, there was open fields. Now there's going to be large buildings with lights and noise. I'm just concerned about the property value and how that's going to impact us financially.
This morning I was thinking about the difference between a house and a home. A house is something that is built, but a home is something that you make memories in and that you build with your family. It's not just stick built, it's not tangible. And that's some of the differences that we're finding with the memories that we have of Mill Creek in our area, what the data center could cause.
It's about preserving the peace, the character, and the way.
You can forget about peace and character. If a data center comes there and you hear that constant hum 24/7, it's over. I don't think anybody would buy a house right next to a data center intentionally. You know, if they probably bought a house and they threw a data center right down the street, you know, you kind of locked in, unfortunately. But if there's literally a data center near a house and that house goes for sale, I almost feel like it'll drop 30-50%. Who's going to move into it?
Life that makes this place feel like home.
Guys, believe it or not, this is a data center in Ohio. This picture is worth 1,000 words. Just look at it. We all know how sensitive horses are. You know, if a fly lands on a horse's back, it starts, you know, trying to get it off. Imagine what it's going to feel, a constant hum right in its backyard, 24/7. This poor horsey's, you know, it's not going to be able to sleep. And this is in Ohio, by the way.
All right, this is where I was yesterday. And I just gave you like just this basic glimpse of these data centers. And there's some people in the comments that are like, show them the whole thing. So let's go see the whole thing. Buckle up, get yourself something to drink. This is going to take a minute. All right, there's the one that I showed you that was on the right side of the road earlier today. We've got all kinds of construction shit all the way back through there. And now this is gonna blow your mind. Okay, we got all kinds of equipment and everything on this side. We've got there's nobody here. This is the best time to come over here on a Sunday when nobody's working. This is just insanity. Not even close to the end yet. I don't know what all these next buildings are. There's a power plant there. I don't know what all these buildings are, but they're all the exact same odd shape. Reminds me of like a field sports house. They're a field house for sports. Jesus, bro. But there is so many of them. I mean, those are big. Like really big. There's a few people working here today, but it's not. Still going. Mind you, I'm doing 40 miles an hour. More back there. Wait for it. Got more of these. We got our own tree nursery over here. We've got all kinds of earth moving equipment. More of these buildings. That is wild. All right, now we're here at the Clover Valley Road. I can only go up so far, so I'm not going to, but this is the main entrance to Intel. There's all the cranes. Check this out.
Oh, so this is an Intel data center that they're building. One important comment says, I'm a union electrician out of Columbus. I would say 90% of the work we have is data centers, Google, Intel, Amazon, Facebook. I personally do not want to ever have to work on another data center for the rest of my career. First of all, the fact of what they are doing to our planet, one by one, these data centers are destroying farmland, wildlife, property, etc. Secondly, these are some of the worst places to work. They want them built and running as quick as they can. The second they are built, it is nothing but profit for these companies. So safety slowly disappears. Every time I was working on Amazon data centers where a guy actually on site, the accident occurred around 9 a.m. I didn't see an ambulance on site for an hour or more. They refused to close the job site down. They came in cleaned up the scene before an ambulance was even called for the poor guy. I don't even know for sure how old he was, but he was around my age. Makes me sick to my stomach thinking about it. Thank you for showcasing just how many of these they are just trying to push out. And trust me, I know that what you showed still isn't even the beginning of these things. Sheesh. That's actually, I actually experienced that before. I used to drive a fork truck for a factory. And right before I came on to my job, there was an ambulance at my job site. And I'm just thinking, like, what's going on? Is everything all right? It turns out somebody on my job site, and it was a fork truck driver. They didn't even say a few words. They didn't let people know what's going on. They didn't have a meeting. And guess whose fork truck he operated? I worked first shift. He was on third shift. This happened on third shift. He drove the same fork truck I was on. So I had to hop on the fork truck that they just lifted this guy off. That I don't know how it happened. I forgot, but I don't know what happened to him. But I literally had to get on a fork truck where somebody just went away, if you will. I remember still seeing his water cup on my fork truck. And I'm sitting there just looking at his water cup for like 5 minutes on a fork truck. On a fork truck, you got a place to put your water bottle or water cup, your coffee, whatever you're drinking. I'm sitting there just looking at his water cup before I even power on my fork truck to start my day. I'm like, are we going to at least say a couple words or something? Or it was straight back to production. So reading that union workers, union electrician out of Columbus statement, it lines up to what I've been through, where something happened to somebody on the job and they just kept pushing. No words, no nothing, just keep it going.
So remember, Intel's back there to the left. Another concrete plant. Got the big power lines. I'll save you the trip. I'll get it back on when we're down there. This is called the New Albany Tech Park. You can see we got some shit going on over here, but I want you to look. As my grandma used to say, I want you to look. You can't really see much yet.
I want you guys to see how massive these things are. So, you might not live in Ohio. You might live somewhere else. But if they're starting to have plans for this stuff coming, this is how big you can expect these projects to potentially be. This is an Intel project. I showed you the one at Texas that's popping off. You know what I'm saying? And this probably just getting started, guys. You need to ask yourself, can our grid handle all this? And again, this isn't financial advice, but they may be going nuclear because our grid can't handle this. And then it's a possibility of nuclear plants popping up. Because I believe most of these data centers use natural gas, you know, or they're trying to siphon most of the city's power. But what happens when that's not enough anymore and the system can't handle it? They will probably upgrade the system. And when they do that, they might go nuclear. It's starting to add up now of why it will take 18 months because they're integrating nuclear probably. I don't know. It's just a theory, guys. But this is absolutely massive in Ohio. It's still going on. We still got 4 minutes of him just driving around this plant. It's absolutely massive.
Why they not coming out here though? I mean, it's obvious, you know. It's obvious. Gary is full of, you know, us, diversity. Yeah. Not really diversity, but it's full of black people. Yeah. You know, we the blackest city out here. So they don't want to check on us. Yeah.
They're NIPSCO. Everybody pays them. We don't pay, we get cut off. But when disaster happens, they want to charge us X amount of dollars, but we already paying into this. They got billions, trillions of dollars. We working day to day on paychecks. So yes, they could have did better. They got the money. We don't got the money. They say they supposed to maintenance that yearly. They haven't been out here in a year or two, maybe 3 years. I can't sleep at night because I can't plug my sleep apnea machine up. I can't afford a generator. I'm working on a month salary. So therefore, we need them to either give us generators or get this power up and running. We got a 91-year-old man that lived at the end, almost at the end of the thing. They had to rush him to the hospital. We had an elder lady across the street. She had medical condition. She bedridden. People come out to help her also. So we really need them to work more faster because we don't want to lose no lives if we don't have to. Our governor needs to get his butt out here and see the damage. You going in these other neighborhoods, you need to go through the whole city of Gary.
We do see, like, you know, people trying to give out free food and, you know, just give back. The community definitely is doing something with the giving back. They've been giving away free food, especially at the Y here. They've been giving out free food to us in showers, hot showers. So it's definitely good that we all coming together finally. We just need more coverage for sure. We need to come together as a community and get it together. We won't be struggling as bad as just one person just struggling. If all come together, we'll be good. You know, something like this. They giving out free water, free cakes, and famous people here and stuff. We need that. We definitely need that.
At the end of the day, we're all alike. We have differences. We need more help.
Yes.
Do, all of us.
Yes.
Like, we're humans at the end of the day. Nobody is better than the other person. So we all go through similar struggles every single day. Let's help each other.
We know why they not coming out here though. I mean,
it's kind of reminded me of Katrina at this point. And I believe, how long did they go? One of you guys commented you guys were a part of it. It was like 15, 20 days, I believe. Man, we need to learn from this situation, guys. We need to be better prepared. We need to be growing our own garden. Start growing your own potatoes, carrots, onions. You know, you gotta have a plan. You don't want to wait till stuff hits the fan. You gotta have a plan.
Everyone's like, oh, how dark is it? How dark is it in Gary, Indiana, right? This is how dark it is.
Almost 100.
Everyone's like, oh, how dark is it? How dark is it in Gary, Indiana, right? This is how dark it is.
Almost 100,000 people in Gary, Indiana are stuck and suffering. They've been without power for a week due to severe storms in the area. Just a month ago, the people of Gary were expressing concern about data centers' effect on their electricity. The total number of data centers in Indiana is 147. That's 23 currently operating and 120 currently being built. The state has specifically become a target for development because of its tax exemption on the electricity used by data centers, which saves each facility hundreds of millions millions of dollars. In October, Amazon opened a 1,200-acre, $11 billion data center in New Carlisle, Indiana. And in February, Meta broke ground on a $10 billion data center in Lebanon, Indiana. Research has shown that the existence of these large data centers puts strain on our power grids. Gary, Indiana is serviced by local utility Northern Indiana Public Service Company, or NIPSCO. So NIPSCO is the company handling this blackout. NIPSCO also loves data centers. The utility company has proposed independent deals with data centers owned by Amazon and Alphabet, and its parent company created a utility completely dedicated to servicing data centers. Between 2023 and 2025, NIPSCO raised Gary residents' electric bills by $83. NIPSCO also accidentally doubled 3,500 customers' electric bills and then didn't report the error for a year after discovering it. And it seems as though these customers still haven't gotten full refunds.
They have 147 data centers and they double charging people's money and not giving it back?
And hello. So if you guys haven't heard, Gary, Indiana has been without power now for 8 days. In Northwest Indiana, or Gary, Indiana, after late Tuesday severe storms, power outages continue in Northwest Indiana. The storms knocked down trees, power lines across the region. Cynthia White, who has lived at her home in Gary for about 40 years, called it one of the worst storms she has ever experienced. She remembers being caught in a storm while driving to Indianapolis Boulevard. White said the winds became so strong that she could barely see drivers forced to pull over. But what's very interesting about this story and what's going on in Gary, Indiana, not only have they been without power, people have been looting and such things that have been occurring in Gary, Indiana with dark roads, dark nights. It's bad. It's a bad situation. Hundreds of thousands of people without power. Somebody, when utility vehicles are at one of the power lines trying to restore power, by an unknown and the officer that was also present did not see. The city of Gary says it's increasing security for the NIPSCO crews after a utility vehicle early Saturday morning around 12:20 a.m. in the 200 block of Rutledge Street. Gary police said that two NIPSCO employees were scouting around with someone in their vehicle, hitting their Jeep twice with in the back of the head seat.
Are you kidding me? Why?
Investigators say that the company vehicle was followed by an off-duty officer from an outside agency, but neither the employees nor the officers. No injuries were reported at the time. Something is terribly wrong in Gary, Indiana. We'll break.
Solar, guys. I don't know how many times I gotta say it. Go on Facebook Marketplace right now and look up solar. People are selling their solar equipment for cheap. If you can get it cheap enough, you can avoid all this and save money on your electric bill. Just a thought. So you're not relying on these energy crews or getting siphoned from these energy companies taxing you more than what you actually need. If your solar is set up good enough and you backfeed into the company, there's a chance they could send you a check. Don't believe anything I'm telling you. Do your own research on this. As a matter of fact, let's dive in together. All right, we have another full grid solar setup. Looks like you got your 4K solar panels, the 500 watt hybrid inverter, AC breaker, battery banks. Important part. I wonder if you can just keep charging up your battery banks and have like 15 of those just put to the side and just keep swapping them out on your bad days, just to keep it going. If you can get on a river too, man, you could hook up a windmill and get a turbine generating too, man, if you're lucky enough to find some water. Find a river to live near. You wouldn't have to worry about electricity. Just put up a windmill on your property. That would probably be the optimum solution if you ask me, because I believe some rivers don't freeze over. It just continuously goes.
Let's be real with solar power. It might look like I have unlimited energy, and in some ways I do. All summer long you see me using electric lawnmowers, air conditioning, electric chainsaws, and other electric yard tools. But now the days are getting shorter and the clouds are increasing. I haven't reached 100% power in 3 days. It's time to start decreasing my usage of power. Some of it's happening naturally. The refrigerators aren't running as much, the lawn doesn't need to be cut as often because it's growing slower, and all my firewood's cut for winter already. Some stuff's pretty easy to cut back. I've got 5 refrigerators/freezers running. Today I'm going to combine everything into just 2 of them. And over the coming weeks, all the electric cooking appliances are going to go dormant. But as it gets colder, cooking on a wood stove's more comfortable anyway. I'll also be unplugging some Wi-Fi equipment. I don't need to...
A wood stove, that's genius. Almost put a wood stove inside your greenhouse to keep the heat up and keep the vegetables at the right temperature. This is surviving, y'all.
Blanket the whole field in Wi-Fi. It's just a nice luxury when I have extra power. All this will leave me extra power for luxuries like coffee and heat tape on plumbing during the coldest nights. I do have a backup plan if absolutely necessary. I can use a small generator to charge the batteries, but I don't like listening to it run or buying gas. Let's be real with solar power. It might look...
I'm almost thinking about a miniature wind turbine at this point. Drop your thoughts in the comments below, y'all. Talk to me, man. We gotta figure this out.
So let's go through all the parts of a solar array and how much each one of them costs. Each of these 200-watt solar panels costs about $130 each. 6 of them here, so that's about $780 just in the solar panels.
That's not bad. And again, you can go on Facebook Marketplace and get some for even cheaper, but you want to make sure that they work and you're not getting scammed.
So in the back, all the solar panels feed into this charge controller here. Controllers can vary in price by a lot. This one only cost me $10 because it's the most bare bones version. Can buy more expensive charge controllers that increase the efficiency of the panels by about 5 to 10%, but usually they're like $100 as opposed to $10, and I just don't really see it being worth it. I'm trying to min-max here. Here's just a DC switch that I can disconnect the solar panels from the charge controller if I need to. Charge controller feeds into the battery box here. So inside the electronics box, I have a 3000 watt, 24 volt inverter. The inverter costs about $270. Everything connects to these black and red bus bars. Down here's my 12 volt power supply. And lastly, I got a disconnect switch for my batteries. And then in the bottom compartment is where I store the batteries. This is a lithium iron phosphate battery. If you charge these batteries below 32 degrees, you'll ruin them. So I'm using RV septic tank heater pads underneath it to keep it above 32 degrees. Now let's talk a little bit more about the battery itself.
So this right here is my big ass 200 amp hour battery that I've been using to power everything in my house for the past year. And this is my new battery that's going to be powering me from now on. You can kind of see the size difference between the two of these. So I'm upgrading my system from a 12 volt system to a 24 volt system. And Lifetime was very nice and they sent me this battery to me for free. So thank you to Lifetime for making this whole solar setup possible, because this is a quite expensive battery and I did not have the funds to buy it right now.
So let's go through all the parts of a solar...
It's cheaper than you would think, guys. You don't need $50,000, $30,000 to have a solar setup. Especially when you can, do the research yourself, get your Tony Stark on, you gotta survive. Or else you're gonna be looking like this. You're gonna be in this long line, waiting for a handout. And who knows? The people at the end of that line, they might not get it. Look at how long it goes down the street. You can't see it, but if you could zoom in right there, look at how long this line is. If you're not growing or trying to work on this, these data centers popping up faster than we can count. My question to you all is, why not start working on all this? You can save money on your electric bill. You can eat better food because you're growing it. No more of that lettuce juju bug that everyone's yelling about. People are afraid to eat lettuce nowadays. You ain't got to worry about none of that because you know what you're putting on your own food. Get a deep freezer. Go in with a couple of friends on a cow. Throw that cow in the deep freezer for the winter. So y'all ain't got to worry about meat. Have your solar panels keeping your meat cool.
I got from one whole beef. This beef came in at 680 pounds. I got roasts, steaks, hamburger, offals, tallow, all in one beef. This can feed a family for a little over a year, and this is why most people go this route. I got
for a year. You buy a cow like this, going with some friends, throw it, look at all the ground meat in the back. Tomahawk. I never ate a tomahawk in my life. But guess what? You get a couple with these. You know, you gotta make a plan. Is this adding up? Let me know in the comments below. Maybe I care too much. I don't know.
FirstEnergy will need to replace its entire power grid in Lakewood and on Cleveland's far west side to fix persistent and sometimes days-long power outages. Here's what you gotta know. At a Crane's Cleveland business event Wednesday morning, CEO Brian Tierney said that replacement will cost hundreds of millions of dollars and take between 7 to 9 years.
So it's like it's already happening with the data centers because they're getting outages, but it's just not on a major scale like we've been talking to, like the entire America went down. But it's happening in smaller sectors because these data centers are pulling too much power and it's causing outages in smaller areas, is what I'm getting from this.
He said it won't take that long for residents and businesses impacted by these sometimes days-long outages to start feeling the impacts of those fixes. Last summer, several Cleveland and Lakewood officials sent a letter to the state's Public Utilities Commission demanding action be taken to upgrade FirstEnergy's public infrastructure. And this summer, after several more storms and outages, Lakewood's officials have ramped up pressure. But FirstEnergy is not just worried about aging infrastructure. It and others must grapple with storms increasing in severity and frequency. This summer, Northeast Ohio has experienced about 24 major storms, as compared to about a dozen in the entirety of 2025. And it's not just thunderstorms and tornadoes that we have to worry about now. As wildfires creep their way toward the Midwest, Tierney said FirstEnergy might start looking at doing public safety blackouts similar to what we see in western states. We don't yet have specific details about the timeline or financing for the Lakewood grid replacement, but Tierney said that as they wait for dollars to come from the Public Utilities Commission of Ohio, FirstEnergy is already spending money to invest as if they already have them to start to get those fixes up and going.
A safety blackout. I've never heard that before. Almost like they're going to do a blackout intentionally to, I guess, help us out. Wow. What does the Ohio Governor Mike DeWine has to say on data centers?
They got to pay their own way. They're making money. They can pay their own way. They should. But we can't throw them completely out and say, oh, no, we don't. We want to close the walls of the state of Ohio and we don't want any data centers to come in any more than we can do that to any other business. This is where the future is. This is now. And we have to be part of it.
What do you make of all the public pushback right now over data centers?
Look, it's democracy. It's what we should have, and we should have conversations. There's nothing wrong with conversations. You know, let's talk about it. This is what we should do.
Let's talk about it. They gave me a couple million and then said, hey, look, be quiet, man. Just put 5 data centers over here. We ain't trying to hear everything that pushback. Here's 5 million. We need your help on this agenda. So here's a little hush hush. I'm just playing, y'all. That's not what happened. I'm trying to. It's almost like he's like, come on, guys, we need to work this out, man. It's these data centers are coming. There's a lot of money involved, guys. What else do you guys want from me here? You know what I'm saying? That's the type of vibes I'm getting here. Like it's a lot about money that is making this happen. I can go harder. Yeah, guys, what do you want from me? These data centers are coming. It's a lot of money. You know what I'm saying? Let's talk about this first, okay? You know, your boy could probably get a couple million up out of this. So let's relax. Everybody calm down. I'm just kidding, y'all, but that's the type of vibes I'm getting here.
But the only thing I'm saying is let's take a clear-eyed view of this. And let's not just say it's data centers or no data centers. Let's say it's data centers under our conditions, under that local community's condition. I'm a believer in local government. I'm a believer in people making their own decisions. But
what are you going to do? Put them underground so we can't hear it? But how does that affect the soil? Under our conditions or your conditions, bucko?
we also have to know that these are a lot of jobs out there. And the data center does not directly create a lot of jobs, but it indirectly creates a lot of jobs. So again, we got to move forward. We cannot look backwards, but we have to do it intelligently.
He just said these data centers create a lot of jobs. Well, they may not create a lot of jobs in our area, but it's going to be a lot of jobs everywhere. Is basically what he just said. What do the comments say? I don't even got to say nothing. Look at what the people are saying. I don't even live in Ohio, y'all. But I can feel their pain. I'm going to be real with you guys. This is probably one of the smartest ideas you can do for you and your family and your household. Take a look at this. This is actually one of the main reasons why I made this video, so I can show you guys this right here. You can go a lot harder in this. You can dig a lot deeper, guys. You don't have to. This is nice. You know, I love this idea, but you can go way harder. Let me show you. All right, guys, I'm going to be completely real with you. Besides me busting out that Strong's Concordance and trying to show you guys the real name from the Tetragrammaton, this is probably the second most important video I have shown you guys all year. Take a look at this.
We have for all of our tropical plants, it's called a Walipini, but I think of it more like a greenhouse / Walipini because it is climate controlled. So we do have like heaters and we have like fans and everything for ventilation. So it's about like 10 feet almost into the ground we've dug, and then from like the floor to the highest pitch is about 22 feet, and our peaches are on like the shorter end, so it is about 12 feet high for them. Then we do have like things like bananas growing in here. We have.
All right, real quick, I just want you to grasp what you're looking at. What you're looking at is a geothermal greenhouse. They dug into the ground and then they put this greenhouse on top of it. I believe this is all year. I'm not sure what their climate is, but you can tailor it for your needs. Look at it doesn't look that big when you're first looking at it. But as you go inside, look at how they dug it out. That's dug out probably 15 feet deep. You can rent an excavator. You can rent, for a couple $100. You can rent whatever you need to dig this stuff out. Yeah, the infrastructure is probably going to cost you a lot more. But I'm just saying it's possible, guys. You would never have to buy another vegetable again if you got this going. They're growing trees here, like fruit trees and stuff. But you can tailor this to your own specific needs. Potatoes, carrots, onions, peppers, tomatoes. All year growing, fan ventilation. You snap it off the vine and you can taste the photosynthesis in your salsa. Imagine dipping a tortilla chip in some tomatoes where you can still taste the photosynthesis because you just snatched it off the vine.
Pitch is about 22 feet, and our peaches are on like the shorter end, so it is about 12 feet high for them. Then we do have like things like bananas growing in here. We have a fig tree that's got quite a bit of figs growing on it. We do also, have things like grapes. So these are more like things that you could grow in BC. So we got all these different types of grapes growing in here. And cherry trees. They haven't produced yet, but hopefully next year. And then, we have our 3 types of peach trees. So we have these 2 main ones here. This little guy that doesn't really seem to want to grow. And then this smaller guy over here. And then we do have bananas growing in here. So
kind of like a made greenhouse. You can't really, I don't think, buy one as big. You'd have to make it, because these guys are about, like I said, about 12 feet, maybe even higher, to be honest with you, tall. So hey, this is what we have for.
I wonder how deep can you dig? Like, that was 15 feet, but can I take it 30 if I want it? You know what I'm saying? Is there a limit on how deep you can dig? You know, and they were growing exotic. They had bananas. They had bananas in there. Like, man, I would utilize every inch to, you know, just the hardy stuff. Like, trees take a couple, 3-4 years to actually fruit. But, you know, if something hit the fan and you needed food, I'd be putting potatoes, carrots, kale, all that. Watermelon, you got your stuff growing off the vine. You know, the possibilities are endless. And then if you got this solar powered, you could throw some solar panels on the top of this or on the other side to activate the fan so you have ventilation going, you know, so it's completely off grid. This is the name if you want to look them up and do some more research on this geothermal greenhouse. But man, what an excellent idea, guys. You know, raised beds outside, you know, a couple raised beds outside, whatever you can do. But if you have the means and you have a house or some property, you just bought some property in a homestead, you know, you could buy land, put an RV on it, build what I just showed you, and, you know, and be straight as far as I'm concerned. If you really trying to go off grid, buy some land, throw an RV on it, and then throw that, you know, geothermal greenhouse I just showed you. You know what I'm saying? You know, definitely do your own research. You know, you got to really do some research, get some blueprints, and really think about it. You know, look at what actually makes a geothermal greenhouse work. You don't want the dirt to be touching the wood and making the wood rot. You know what I'm saying? Put a little cement in between the wood and the dirt. You know what I'm saying? Really have a plan. Make it work. And there's one more great idea I wanted to show you guys. Now, I'm just throwing you guys everything I got. I'm not gatekeeping no ideas. I want anybody who watches me to thrive. Get your John Connor on. And here's the last idea I wanted to show you guys. I've read somewhere that a Tesla Cybertruck could actually power a home for 2 to 3 days. Well, what if you could charge a Tesla solar, using solar instead of finding, you know, a power station? Because looking at this Ohio incident, Indiana incident where, you know, they're driving around, they can't even find gas stations. I've read, because the gas stations don't have power, so they can't sell you gas, you know. So it's like, what do you do when you can't get gas? Well, what if you had an electric vehicle that you could charge using solar? I'm not saying it works. It's just an idea I had, but I wanted to dive into it a little bit with you guys. Before we get started, look at this person. They're in Indiana living inside their Tesla. Like, I'm pretty sure, look, she's pregnant too. Wow. You know, but they in there, they got the entertainment. Hopefully they got a little AC. They put it on low power mode. You know, I don't know how they work, but they have my attention now, because is there a possibility that you can charge them off of solar? Now, I'm not gonna lie, I already know how most people feel about Cybertrucks. They don't like them, they're overpriced. But one of the advantages that caught my attention was it having the capability of powering your home for potentially 2 days if you have it set up. And what if you can recharge the Tesla using only solar powered? That almost sounds like a perpetual energy, kind of, as long as you got sunny days. Is it possible to charge a Tesla up off a generator? You know what I'm saying? It makes you think. They're forcing us to think outside the box.
Powering this whole store. Rigging the whole store. Getting the cash machine working, the pumps working, rigging it by this beast right here. It's a simple plug. Powering this whole store.
Now he's powering this gas station with his Tesla during a power outage. This happened in Houston. Now we go to the comments, you know, people are saying that, yeah, they got other vehicles that do it too. But it's just an idea to put in your head. You know what I'm saying? But let's see if you can actually charge a Tesla using some type of solar setup. I'm interested in this.
Set up with 400 watt solar panels paired with the Jackery power station. Let me show you how it's done. Ground bonding plug is required to make this work. I'm getting 294 watts of input, outputting 577 watts, but this thing can do 1,300 watts. I set the charging speed lower so I can take full advantage of the solar charging power. Therefore, the power station does not drain as quick. It provides a nice shade. I would totally recommend setting the charging current to the lowest possible 5 amps. And it shows 3 hours and 35 minutes remaining at 77%. Put a cover on it so it doesn't overheat. I'll do a follow-up video when the battery is 100% charged and see how many miles I can put in the car. It's great for emergency use. Please follow for more. Tesla solar.
You know, you're going to think if gas stations go out, you know, can you get away with a Tesla solar charging? I'm not sure if they got to connect to the internet or what, or if you know, but it looks like a decent idea. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If you thought I wasn't going to hit you with another excellent specimen today, think again. All right, y'all. Y'all see it. We got another dazzling specimen for you. If you're new around here, every video I show you guys a specimen, we rate it 1 through 10 and we give it a name. This specimen, just by the uniqueness, color, presentation, I'd have to give this a 8.8. And the name, man, I don't know what to name this. Almost like some type of ring, kinda. But it's given like a earthly bluish tone. Man, I would call this the purple earth halo. 8. What'd I say? 8.8? Yeah, I'm gonna rate this about an 8.8. Call it the purple earth halo. 8.8. I want to hear your name for this specimen and put your rating in the comments below.
Living off grid, this is how we get power when there's no sunshine.
This is our Champion 11,000 watt tri-fuel generator. Our plan is to run this off propane to charge our batteries when there's not enough sun on the solar panels themselves. One of the cool things about this generator is we can run it not only on propane, but also natural gas and gasoline. It charges our 16 kilowatt hour battery in just a few hours. One of my favorite things about this generator is it comes with this auto start key fob. It allows me to press the button from anywhere within the house and automatically crank on the generator. This 50 amp RV plug plugs directly into the generator, which can run our entire house both on 120 and 240 volts.
All right, guys, this looks like it isn't a perpetual system, but what to take away from it is that you could use a generator to charge your solar batteries when the sun's not out enough. So almost as a backup to your energy needs when there's not enough sun out. And he said it only takes a couple hours. You know, I believe one propane tank could last, you know, at least a day, I believe. So like one propane tank, you could make a propane tank potentially charge your solar batteries and last quite a while to stretch it out. If there was no sun out, you would definitely have to do the math and see how long your propane would last versus what the weather's looking like, especially the winter months. And from what I've been hearing, this is going to be one of the worst winters we done had in a while.
Bronco has a 30 amp plug and a few regular outlets to plug in whatever you need. Inside our inverter room, we set up a permanent solution for the generator. We have a 50 amp inlet box that's wired directly to our inverter. This inlet box is connected to a 50 amp cord, which runs all the way out to the generator itself.
Living off grid, this is how we get power.
Look at her helping carry with a baby. I'm not mad at it. That's all we got for today's video, man. I tried my best, man. There's a lot of crazy things going on in this world. One of these topics interests me because I really want everyone to do well and thrive, you know what I'm saying? And I just want to say thank you so much. The code word for today is off grid. Go ahead and put off grid in the comments below. When you do that, that lets me know you're a real one. You made it all the way to the end of the video and you really rock with your boy. I'm gonna chop this one up for you, and I just want to say I love you guys. Hang in there, and I'm gonna see you soon.